Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome today to the first ever video on the second channel, ladies and gentlemen, Seatin, Man of Poor Life Decisions, which, to be honest, is the perfect title. It's much more fitting than Legends. Legends, incredibly vain, but Poor Life Decisions, that's bang on the mark. That is the perfect summary of me as a person, really. And, you know, if you don't know too much about me, I'm 23 years old. I play this game called Marvel Contest of Champions at the moment, mainly, and make tons of videos on it in this studio in my parents' garden. So basically, I'm the coolest kid around, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, in today's video, I want to talk about like two different things. And the first thing is like what I want to do with the Seatin Man of Poor Life Decisions channel, and it's kind of like two different things. I want to like document some of my adventures and travels and just try and have so much fun with that, because in 6 days we're going out to California. I've got like a week in San Francisco, like a couple of days in LA, then in Long Beach, and then we come back to the UK for like a week to cover all the Infinity War stuff that's probably going to be happening in Marvel Contest of Champions around that time. And then I'm flying back out to California to go to Coachella, and that is just going to be the most incredibly sick time. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, all this crazy, exciting stuff has happened, and has happened, is happening at the moment. And I really just want to kind of, yeah, share the journey, share the adventure, just have a little bit of fun, because I love making the videos, man. Like, one of my favorite things to do on my main channel is when there's a little bit of a controversy or just something really stupid has happened. I love to make meme videos and just take the piss. Like, we've got some amazing goofs and gaffs and such a great community around the main channel. So I wanted to make a channel that, instead of being focused on constantly talking about video games, is just all about fun. Like, you know, having a good time with it, making loads of random videos somewhere where I can be a little bit more weird and creative and do all sorts of like very obscure stuff if it was to appear on the main channel. So yeah, just expect like tons of really random and weird shit appearing on this channel, but hopefully my goal with like every single video on this channel is going to be something that's either like entertaining, or I think, you know, people are going to laugh at, they're going to have a good time. So really, those are just the two goals for videos on this channel. You know, I don't really give a shit at all about making money off this channel. I just want to like have a great time making like fun videos, and yeah, really just enjoying that. But simultaneously, a few of you want to know a little bit more about the young man, so I want to, you know, give you a little bit of background if you're not already familiar with me and my backstory, which isn't a very backstory. That sounds like I'm a comic book hero, which I'm certainly not. I'm just a bit of a dickhead from England who's 23, and yeah, I'm in my garden all day every day making Marvel Contest of Champions videos and playing that game, which I quite enjoy, man. Marvel Contest of Champions is really fun to play, but also I am a bit of a weird creative dude. I love like writing weird raps and songs and just doing all sorts of very obscure stuff. Like, I absolutely love that. But yeah, just in terms of my background and history, I got into video gaming by playing World of Warcraft when I was a teenager. When I was like 13, my cousin introduced me to World of Warcraft, and it was like the most mind-blowing experience that I've ever had, because, you know, I kind of like downloaded the game, and it was so exciting to like get plunged into this incredibly expansive virtual world, where I was this character and constantly like, you know, going through all of these continents and different zones and regions, and like leveling up and meeting new people and enemies and bosses. Like, it was so much fun, man. I really enjoyed playing World of Warcraft quite extensively in my teenage years. When I think around like 16, 17, I was playing very hardcore. Like, I just got addicted to that game. I was playing it like all of the time, and as a result of me playing so much World of Warcraft, I just had no interest in school whatsoever at all. Like, in every single lesson, I used to have like an iPod, and it was one of the first like iPods that I don't think they were quite iPhones yet, but you know, you could like get the internet on, and I was always like on the World of Warcraft forums just reading all of the stuff on like how, because I played a warlock at the time and I wanted to be like the best warlock out there, so I was constantly like under my desk, like constantly reading all of, you know, the strategy and forums and discussion about various specs, rotations. Like I wanted to know absolutely everything there was to know and always be involved in kind of that conversation. So I think that's really where a lot of, you know, my passion for gaming came from, and having you know, being plunged so deep into one particular game at such kind of well, while I was developing and stuff, and that being kind of my primary interest, I think, yeah, I've just got so into video games. Like whenever I play a new game, if it's a game that, you know, I scope out most games for maybe like an hour, 2 hours, but if I'm into the game, like I will like fully commit. I will look up absolutely everything I can, try to become the best player possible, because I love that. I love, you know, learning as much as possible about video games, because I find there's you know, knowledge is power when it comes to you know, pretty much every game that I've ever played, man. You've gotta know all the pro tips, and there's so much you can learn, especially in this age of having like YouTube and Twitch, and constantly being able to see all of like the best people or top people play these games. Just sitting down and watching people you know, playing a game that you've recently picked up for like an hour, you can pick up so much stuff. You can learn so much stuff. So like I'm such a big believer in like YouTube and Twitch as a platform for video games in the future, man. I feel like these are just going to be constantly expanding and expanding. Like there's just generations and people constantly coming up, they're getting into video games as well. So when it comes to the what is it, the video game market in general, and the amount of people interested in video games, I feel like that's just going up and up and up. So yeah, that's really cool to see, and I've especially seen it with Marvel Contest of Champions. Game just keeps on growing and growing. So yeah, that's really fun. But yeah, just to go back to, what is it, the fun old life story there for a second. So yeah, I was pretty much neglecting school, like GCSEs. I got all C's and D's, which, you know, if you're American, you're maybe not aware of the marking system. That's pretty much the equivalent to the shit emoji. So yeah, really not good grades at all. And then I went to college for about 4 months, and I was still raiding. I think I had transitioned into like Rift or something, because yeah, I used to raid like with the #1 guild on our server in Terranus. Was it Live to Tell back in the day, man? Back in the day in World of Warcraft. But yes, when I went into college, I just had no interest in college at all. Like I was always kind of like, I would get the bus to college because my mum would leave for work after I'd left, so I had to like get the bus, or she'd know like I was bunking off. So yeah, I'd go out, get the bus, and then get a bus home, and just, yeah, played video games for the rest of the day. That was pretty much it. Very fun times. Sometimes I'd swing by McDonald's on the way back, but yeah, I was just so lazy when it came to education, and it just didn't really captivate me or interest me at all. I was far more interested in World of Warcraft. So then yeah, it kind of got to a point where I think like my interest for MMORPGs, it faded like a little bit. Like I was becoming a little bit less hardcore, and I kind of had this drive of like, oh, I'm not really doing too much with my life. Like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to go out there, and because I had a part-time job at a supermarket. I used to work at a supermarket called Waitrose, which is a massive like posh person supermarket in the UK. And yeah, that was quite nice. I used to work on the checkouts. I was like the only dude that used to work on the checkouts, man. And I basically spent my weekends kind of scanning like very overpriced groceries and having lovely conversations with some rich old people. So that was pretty fantastic. It was really great working at Waitrose, man. That was like when I was 16 to I think like 17 and a bit. But yeah, had a fantastic time working there. Really enjoyed the checkouts, actually, very oddly. But then it transitioned to, I was about 17 and a half. Yeah, like everything was kind of failing with college, because yeah, I literally could not give a shit at all, which is, you know, not really the right attitude to have. But hey, everything happens for a reason, my lads, and this is not an excuse to slack out. But yeah, I had alternative plans, and those plans were to get an apprenticeship and have a 9-to-5 job so I could start earning some money, ladies and gentlemen. Money is very useful because you can buy stuff with it, and I wanted to buy a new computer, and I did a few months into my job. But yeah, I worked for a charity called the Citizens Advice Bureau, and like just getting into that working environment, I found myself so motivated. Like, I had this kind of training course to become something called a gateway assessor, which the Citizens Advice Bureau is a charity that helps people with all sorts of problems in general, but usually like problems around kind of like government schemes, benefits, legal systems, a lot of employment stuff, relationship, housing. So some really like serious issues. Some people will come in and they'd be in like all sorts of different states. So yeah, it was a very, very interesting job, and really exposed me to the wider world, because I got to see like dozens and dozens of people's problems on a daily basis, and I did a lot of shadowing and a lot of kind of, you know, working alongside some incredibly brilliant people there. But yeah, I managed to complete like all the training. Like it was set out for, I think, a year. They expected me to become qualified as a gateway assessor, because I was one of the youngest people to ever go through the training there. But your boy, he fucking knocked it out in a month and a half, because, you know, I know, I was so on the ball, man. I loved it, and I never had that kind of reaction in education in a classroom. I was like always so incredibly disinterested, and I think that's something when it comes to my personality, that if I don't give a shit about something, like I just don't give a shit about it, and there's not too much like anything really that can be done to motivate me. But as soon as I really get hooked on something, I'm like, fuck yes, boys, I'm down for this. I want to learn everything. I want to be the best. Because yeah, I saw all these people like coming in with like all sorts of problems, and I was like, shit, man, I want to help all these people out. I want to get savvy. I want to get good. I want to be dishing out that great advice, pointing people out in the, you know, the right directions, and you know, doing what I can to the best of my ability to, you know, help push people in the right direction and give them some really decent advice. So that was yeah, did that for about 2 years, and that was a job that just kept on growing and growing in terms of my role. Eventually I was training people how to give advice, and one of the things that I got put in charge of was, because I was a very good speaker for some reason. I don't know really where that came from, if I'm perfectly honest, but I was very good at talking to people over the telephone, and some people, they're not really great at talking to people over the telephone. So yeah, that's one of the things that I was really good at. So I used to train people on how to kind of deal with vulnerable clients over the phone, because there were some people, you know, that didn't want to be seen coming down to the Citizens Advice Bureau for advice. So yeah, those were sometimes some of the most difficult phone calls that I've ever had in my life. I've had to deal with some very difficult situations over the phone in my past, and I think as a 17 to 19-year-old dealing with a lot of issues of like abuse, separation, domestic violence, very real issues. It kind of impacted me a little bit, not a huge amount, but there were times where, I don't know, it just seemed to take a bit of its toll, and like I had like periods where I kind of sink into like depression for a little bit, just because I couldn't believe just you know, how some people behave in this world. Like that really like fucked with me at certain points, and when you're dealing with all these people's crazy problems, like I tend to like, I got good toward the end and not taking stuff home, but while I was really in the thick of it, man, like I sometimes used to, like, you know, kind of worry about various clients that I was dealing with. So yeah, that was a really good job. I really enjoyed my time at the Citizens Advice Bureau, and I think I did you know, I helped a lot of people out, and it felt really good, really good. Got some people out of some really shitty situations back in the day, and I really loved my time there. It was very valuable, but I kind of knew it wasn't something that I felt like I could do forever. I had kind of this like a bit of a creative outlet going on. I was still playing MMOs like a little bit more casually, because at this time as well, like you know, it was around the age where everybody in the UK, from like 15 onwards, or, well, 14, it depends which friendship circles you're in, it's all about the parties, man. Like, everybody's getting wasted, having crazy house parties, and especially that just ramps up when everybody's in college. Like, I still had a huge circle of friends, so that was really amazing, just going out partying all of the time. And yeah, I partied so much, man, made so many incredibly poor life decisions, and I'm sure at some point we might share some stories from those days, because there are some very interesting ones, ladies and gentlemen, some very interesting ones, which I'm sure, you know, at some point we'll get around to talking about. But yeah, kind of in the state where, what was I just doing in my spare time? Just partying, playing MMOs, like a little bit like hardcore casual. You know, I was raiding a little bit here and there, having a good time, playing some endgame content. It was not too bad. It was not too bad at all. So yeah, it kind of got to the point where I was 19, where I had like a little bit of a YouTube channel. So I started my YouTube channel just initially, like, make a few guides that I thought would be a little bit fun to share with my guild at the time on how to do like various things. And I made some like shitty goof videos and like recut some trailers. And really just, you know, did stuff that I thought was a little bit fun, and then like quite a few people started sharing the videos around. And you know, the community in the game that I used to play, Rift, it wasn't massive, but it was a very tight-knit community. And yeah, everybody seemed to be liking the videos, so I just kept on building the channel up and up and up. And we got to I think I got to about 3,000, 4,000 subscribers. And then it was the summer when I was 19, and this company called Tryon Worlds, they flew me out to San Francisco, man. They spent, like, you know, at the time, you know, I was on a charity wage. I really wasn't getting paid, like, close to anything. But this company spent about, I think it was about 3-4 grand, like, flying me out from the UK to San Francisco to you know, come over for their community day event and meet all the developers of the game. So that was the point where I was like, okay, you know, I'm getting a little bit of money. I'm making like a couple of $100s a month on YouTube. I got big brands and stuff. Like, they're paying a few $1,000s for me to fly me out to America. I was like, oh, you know, maybe I want to give this a go, see if I can make it work full time. But at that time, as soon as I'd later find out, I didn't really have the knowledge, the skill set, experience to make YouTube work full-time. So I left my job at the Citizens Advice Bureau, like 19 and a half. I'm working in my bedroom, just making MMORPG videos, but my work ethic is terrible. I may be getting like 2-3 videos done a week, and like some videos are banging and others just really aren't hitting any sort of mark. And when you are at that schedule of like maybe doing a video, kind of mustering yourself up to do a video like once every like 2 or 3 days, and then you do a video, you know, you release the video and it doesn't bang, it doesn't do as well as you expected. It's a terrible feeling, man. Terrible feeling. And like right on top of that, I had a very like unexpected breakup with a girl that I was in a relationship with, who I was so smitten for, man. I used to fall so hard, so easy for ladies back in the day. So yeah, we were dating for about 5 months, you know, just left my job, trying to do YouTube, being a little bit like down about that because it really wasn't ramping up as much as I thought it would. I get dumped, and yeah, I don't know, it just hit me, man. I was just like, really, I just fucking depressed for ages. Like, I just barely, like, most days I just couldn't even do anything at all. But I just wasn't seeing any results on my YouTube channel. I felt so alone because I was just in my room all day, and I still occasionally get that here and there when it comes to this channel as well. But I think one of the great things I have now is I live stream so much. You know, I have a lot of calls with friends on a daily basis. I go out, I see people. So I've built a lot more of a life around my, YouTube at the moment. So that's amazing. I'm in a very, very fortunate position. And now that I've taken it, you know, incredibly seriously with the way that we've built the main channel, it's put me in a financial position where I can go wherever I want at any time. And, you know, I have like a laptop so I can work from anywhere. So yeah, if it really does build up, if it really does get a little bit too much, I can just be like, fuck it, I'm going to Amsterdam. I'm gonna go rent an apartment, enjoy some coffee for a week, just have a sick time, lads. But yeah, I haven't really felt the need to do that because I've just been what is it? Just chilling all over the place, man. We had a crazy year last year. But anyway, back to the story. So we're 19, everything's going a little bit shit. Like, YouTube ain't really taking off too much. Your boy's lonely as fuck. He's been dumped by his gal, by a pond in the rain. It was great. It was great, lads. Fun times. Very fun times. Yeah, I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, you know, my life is completely meaningless. And I decided, you know, I was like, I didn't decide this myself. My mum, she was like, because Abigail had a job at the local trampoline park, which had just opened up. It was like the first one in the UK, just around the corner from us, called Gravity Force. Yeah, essentially what happened is she was like, they're doing a recruitment night, you know, you need to get out of the house, Callum. You need to get like a little part-time job. And this seems like a really great place to work. Like, there are tons of people around your age. They're always doing like night outs and parties and stuff. So I was like, a little bit begrudgingly, like, oh yeah, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'll see if I like it. I'll go to the group interview. So I went to the group interview, and I loved it, man. Like, I got on smashingly. Like, I had a little bit of a weird thing going on with my voice back then, but like, everybody was digging it for some reason. I don't know why. It's really, really stupid looking back. And if you want to see that, look up some of it, like, type in like Seatin Rift and look up some old videos. But it was a weird ass time, my boys. A weird ass time. So yeah, I managed to get a part-time job working on front of house, so again, at reception, and I really love customer service jobs to a certain extent. Like, I love them back in the day, just the constant, like, face-to-face people. I feel like I'm a very, very chatty person, and I just need somebody to, talk to a lot on a daily basis, so, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Was doing well, just kind of instantly, like, picked up the job like that, and I was around, like, a lot of people that maybe it was, like, their first job, but I had experience, you know, working at Waitrose, like, 2 years at the Citizens Advice Bureau, a lot of doing YouTube, so I was fairly used to talking and communicating with people, and I was pretty good at solving, like, any problems that would arise, just general customer service ones, in a pretty swift and efficient and professional manner, so that wasn't too bad at all. And yeah, then after, like, a week and a bit working at the company, I got chatting with a managing director, because I think on my CV it said, you know, I put something a little bit about my YouTube and social media pages, and he was like, oh man, you know, we need somebody at the moment, like, our social media is just dead, but there was so much you could do with it, like, I know you've got a bit of a background, like, would you be potentially interested in, kind of, you know, running our social media? Like, would you be able to put kind of a plan together of, you know, what you do with our social media pages? So yeah, I went away, and I was actually super motivated because I was loving the company. It was a really, really great environment. Again, working at this trampoline park were about like 80 to 100 people between the ages of like generally like 16 and 22, so I was 19 at the time. It's all people around my age. It's such a great atmosphere. So yeah, I worked really hard. I had like this, I produced like this 10-page plan, and brought it to like a meeting that I had with him the very, very next week, and he's blown away, man. He's really, really impressed. Like, I just did my research. I looked at like every single other trampoline park in the US and Australia that kind of had a social media presence, because again, at this point, trampoline parks are very, very new to stuff, and made a little bit of a plan and got that all sorted. And he was just essentially like, dude, you've nailed this, man. On the spot, we're giving you this contract. So I had like this additional social media contract, which was paying quite nicely, and that went on for a couple of months, and like, I was so fucking good at it, you know, not floating my own boat too much, but the stats, you know, they don't lie, boys. Like, the pages, the Instagram account, the Twitter, the Facebook, were all really, really blowing up, especially the Instagram and Facebook. Was doing really, really well at that. So essentially, like, the owner of the company was then like, damn, this is going really, really well. We're getting so much additional like traffic to our website and stuff, and there's so much more we want to do in the future, especially with expanding parks. So they brought me on full time as the digital marketing executive. So I ran like all of the social media, and you know, a lot of the stuff that I worked on was just making like fun stuff, like fun videos, fun photos, just stuff that I thought would be like cool to share with people, and also getting influencers down. That was one of my my goals at the job, was to like get as many videos made on the trampoline park as possible. And yeah, I was actually quite good at that. I did a lot of like social media fishing to try and get some conversations opened, and I managed to get in contact with, I think it's Cal Freezy, and got him down along with like Rotashaw and Calix, and those are good. They're great lads, man. And just work with so many influencers, kind of getting them down, giving them the trampoline park, like you know, helping them film videos if they needed any additional assistance. Had like a parkour team as well, Team BSG, if you want to look them up. Made tons of videos back in the day. But yeah, I worked at this trampoline park. I was doing all this fun like social media stuff, and yeah, we just continued doing that for about 2 years. We opened 2 more trampoline parks. One of the trampoline parks was a huge success. It was phenomenal. We had a crazy launch for that in terms of sales, and the other one was a complete failure, pretty much. Yeah, I think that's a very accurate way of saying it. Just because, not really because of anything we did. We just went into like an area that, at the time where we got the planning for the trampoline park, like it was a perfect area, but by the time like everything came together, there were another like 5 or 6 trampoline parks that got through like planning much quicker than us, and had, yeah, essentially eaten up all of the market there. So that sucked, and it got to a point where the business needed to essentially like downscale, and they were, you know, asking if anybody wanted to be made redundant and take a redundancy package. And I was like, yeah, at this point, like, I've really enjoyed the job, but 2 years of like, you know, taking photos of trampolines and making all these videos and stuff, I'm fucking sick of trampolines, boys. I'm sick of them. I'm done. I can happily close the chapter in that life, in that page of my life. And yeah, then I got a bit of money, not a huge amount, but I decided, you know what, I've got the skill set now. I've been running social media, I've been watching YouTube very closely for the last couple of years. I think I know what to do. I think I know what to do to make it work now, and I've been playing Marvel Contest of Champions for a couple of months, and I loved that game so much, but I identified like a big niche in the market for a channel that was covering a lot of the news and information, and I noticed that there was an absolutely huge player base for it, so I kind of just jumped on that, and through a lot of that, we did so many videos, man. I think at this point in time, I've probably made around like 1,600 to 1,800 videos and live streams on Marvel Contest of Champions. Like, we've done so much, and it's been so enjoyable, man, to kind of, you know, move out of the bedroom and into the studio, and that kind of sum of money that I got from my previous, you know, departing from my previous role of employment. I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking double down on this. I'm gonna invest in myself. Like, I don't want to be in my room all day, but I'm just gonna fall into the same old slump. I want to have a studio which is away from everything, where I can just soundproof it. It can be the perfect environment to record my videos, and just focus on, you know, achieving my dream and making this become a reality. So yeah, your boy doubled down. We spent the money, we built the studio, got a friend of the family who's a carpenter to hand build it, and he was fucking incredible, man. He was so talented, did such a good job. We've got, what is it, electricity in here, heating, we've got an additional Wi-Fi box. So yeah, it was quite a big setup cost, but I knew if I wanted to take this line of employment seriously, that, you know, it's worth investing in yourself at the end of the day. And I thought, if I invest in myself, I'm gonna be like, fuck, man, I got like, this is my chance. Like, I've fucked this up before. I failed. I didn't put in the motivation. I didn't, you know, have the work to show for my first run on YouTube. So I was like, this time I'm putting all of my chips on the table. We're going in, boys. And yeah, fucking saw a day. Not too bad at all. And here we are, like, what is it? It's 18 or so months later. We've managed to hit 115,000 subscribers on my my main channel, Seatin Man of Legends. I really enjoy making the Marvel Contest of Champions videos. I've loved doing it, played the game so much, but I'm kind of aware that for the future, like, I want to do other stuff. And, you know, I've become significantly more confident. I think I've become a bit of a better speaker. I'm still not anywhere near perfect. There's still so much room to learn and grow. But I think that's going to be one of the very fun parts about the next couple of years, is kind of exploring, like, what do I want to do on YouTube? Like, what's this channel going to be about? Like, you know, what's my main channel going to evolve into? Like, I'm just having a bit of a think at the moment, and I want to yeah, just share this crazy adventure and circumstance that we're in now, because my life has just changed radically over the last, like, between this time, like, 4 years ago and now. Like, it's absolutely insane, man. Completely different scenario, because 4 years ago I was still working for the charity, man. I was still pretty much, barely paying the bills every single month. I did not have a very good wage there at all. I was like apprenticeship, very close to like apprenticeship national minimum wage, which is below national minimum wage, because if you're an apprentice they can pay you even less. So yeah, to be at this level now where we are just very financially, like, in a very good position, we can explore the world, we can just go on all these crazy adventures. Like, it's like, oh, I can do anything now, but what exactly do I want to do? I'm still trying to figure all that stuff out, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was an incredibly long video, but hopefully it's given you a bit more of an insight into me, who I am, where I've come from. I'm a bit of a bum. I'm winging it half the time, but it's very good fun, man. I really enjoy what I do, and at the end of the day, I just want to make videos that entertain people and are a little bit funny, man. I really like the funny stuff, and this one hasn't been too comical. It's just been a big, like, this is my life story, very fun one, not even like all my life story, but the general gist of like how we got from being a very spotty kid playing World of Warcraft who's failing in academics to, hey, I am a YouTuber now who's doing pretty well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to see some awesome content, and yeah, if you've made it this far in the video, man, I gotta appreciate the dedication, lads. Massive shout out. Feel free to smash that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.